Welcome to Minding My Money. I'm your host, Shawnee, and this is where the journey to financial freedom is real, raw, and a little bit fun. I'm sharing my wins, my lessons, and everything in between, $1 at a time. Now, before we jump in, let me say this. This ain't financial advice, just financial realness. Today's episode title is inspired by a Young Thug song called Money. Last episode, I talked about why I like dollars and how discipline changed my relationship with money. But what I learned next, having money is one thing, managing it is another. Part 1 taught me that mindset is the foundation. Part 2 taught me that maintenance is the work. Because when you stop making money, the lessons don't stop, they just get louder. Juice WRLD said it best in this song. More money brings more pressure. And it's true. Once I started having a little something to work with, I realized I needed to figure out where my money was going, and fast. Let's rewind to where it started. My very first job was in the 11th grade at a sub shop, making minimum wage, $6 an hour to be exact. For a teenager back then, that felt like something, even though $6 was low. It stretched further than today's $7.25. Back then, I worked just to buy things that made me happy, material things. By my senior year in high school, I realized minimum wage jobs weren't going to cut it long term. My senior year, before I graduated, I applied to work at a daycare near my school, not expecting anything. I just wanted to see if I could apply and be offered a job somewhere that paid me more than $30 a check. And I got the job at the daycare. Now, let me be honest, I hated that job. I had no desires to be around anyone's kids at that age. But I went from making $30 to $50 every 2 weeks to over $700 every 2 weeks. That was life-changing in high school. And what did I do with that extra money? I spent it. I got me a prom dress, all of my senior year stuff, but I still ended up broke. That was the pattern. I was always broke after I got paid. After high school, when I went to college, I would come back home every summer. I would find a summer job, I would work, I would make money, I would spend it all, and repeat. When I graduated nursing school, I thought I was about to be paid. I mean, nursing was supposed to be this good paying job, right? Wrong. My first offer was $21 an hour. I was hyped because that was more than I had ever made in my life. But after taxes, I was only taking home about $2,600, give or take, a month. That felt big at the time until I moved out of my mom's house and started paying real bills. That's when I realized, oh shoot, I don't make nearly enough. I was still swiping for shoes, still spending unnecessarily. I had real bills now. And I was starting to see also, I was living paycheck to paycheck. Now, I touched on this before. Because of those habits, eventually I got evicted and had to move back in with my mom. That moment crushed me and changed me. I was determined to understand, how did I end up here? What did I miss? What wasn't I taught? Around that time, I started working with an older nurse who dropped real gems. I didn't ask her questions, but somehow she started dropping gems on financial advice, but she also dropped real gems, things nobody ever tells you in the nursing field. She taught me how to evolve within the nursing field. She said, baby, you don't have to stay at the bedside forever and struggling. She told me that money was out there, but I had to leave the bedside. I didn't know that then, and that advice was a turning point. She shared to me about roles like case management, utilization review, being in management, working for managed care organizations, and I knew nothing about any of this, but eventually I started to learn about it. I had never heard of any of that before. I thought struggling at the bedside was the only option. Per the advice that I was given, I applied for a case management job, and I definitely got the job. And around this time, for reference, I was in grad school trying to earn my master's degree in nursing. So I applied for the job, and yes, this job paid more than bedside. But the real win was I was spending less, learning more, and finally stacking instead of swiping because living with my mom provided me that type of freedom. You see, being back in my mom's house meant I had fewer bills and I had no desire to spend because the goal was to get out of my mama's house and have my own privacy again. But let's be real, that new job, that case management position, that job was so draining. The environment was hostile, it was unrealistic, and just not for me. I stayed in that position for 4 years because I couldn't afford to go back to the bedside and take that type of pay cut. I had no one paying my bills. I paid my own bills. On top of the fact, I was trying to get my financial situation together so that I could leave my mom's house. I just told you all I was evicted. So I stuck it out, but it was not easy. Spoiler alert though, I can tell you this. After 4 years, I left that job and I am now thriving with a company that I truly love. I'm not just saying that, like, I truly love it. I couldn't be more happier. I'm making more money. I have more work life balance. I'm able to keep up. One day, maybe I'll tell that story in full if anyone's interested. But to get back on track, more money doesn't automatically mean more peace. Money is a responsibility. It's not just what you earn, it's how you move when you earn it. You can make more and still feel broke if you're not managing it well. And you can make less and still build wealth if you're intentional. That's the lesson I wish I learned sooner. Money part one was about desire, wanting more, dreaming bigger. But part two taught me that more means management. Because when that direct deposit hits, it's not just joy, it's judgment. Every dollar now has a job. And if you don't assign it one, it'll find its own. I had to learn that making money doesn't mean you're automatically good with it. It means you're being trusted to learn stewardship. And stewardship is discipline in motion. As income grows, so does temptation. It's so easy to start spending just because you can. You can swipe because it's available. In a previous episode, I shared how I started hiding my debit card to avoid temptation. Because listen, living paycheck to paycheck is not it. You can make more and still have less if you're not managing it. And on the flip side, you can make less and still build wealth if you're intentional. In this song, Nicki has a part, right? Nicki doesn't just rap about money. She protects herself in this song. That's the energies today that I'm on that I wasn't on previously. I don't just want bags, I want boundaries. I don't just want freedom, I want foundation. Because real boss moves aren't loud, they're consistent, they're intentional, they're sustainable. One of the smartest shifts I've made, automating my bills. Once I stopped waiting until the last minute, everything got smoother. I also learned how to use credit cards strategically for things I was going to pay for anyway. So let's say I needed gas. I always get gas. I'll use my credit card for gas or bills, and then I will pay the card back. That's when I stopped letting my money control me and started controlling it. Now, my relationship with money is in a great space now. We are real good. But before, we were going back and forth and back, making up to break up. If part one was about freedom and part two was about foundation, then this moment right here is about future. Money no longer defines me, it serves me. Rich looks good, but wealth feels good. Wealth, it is peace, options, and legacy. It's saving without struggling and giving without guilt. That's the energy I'm walking in now. Wealth over riches. So let me ask you, are you flexing or are you building? Are you swiping to feel good or spending with purpose? What's one small shift you can make today to start stacking? Drop me a comment, I want to know. Next episode, we're diving into what happens when life knocks you off track and how to bounce back. Because managing money isn't just about strategy, it's about staying grounded. Thanks for tuning into Minding My Money, where every dollar has a story and every story brings us closer to financial freedom. If you felt inspired, learned something new, or just vibe with the journey, don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, and share it with someone who needs it. You can also catch more content and behind the scenes moments on YouTube and Instagram. Just search Minding My Money. Until next time, keep minding your money $1 at a time.